optimal living, living optimally.
Welcome to Optimal Living Starts Here. I am Versandra Kennebrew, your host, and we are once again bringing to you stories that empower active duty military veterans and their family members to live more healthy, happy lives. And today I have a special guest that has joined me, and I want to just give you a little bit of insight about who this young lady is. Let me tell you, I met her maybe 2 years ago, a year to 2 years ago, hanging out at the Art of Yoga studio in Columbus, Georgia. And when I met this young lady, I was so impressed because she has such a deep passion for yoga. And yoga is a part of what I'm into, and definitely one of those resources that I encourage veterans and their family members to engage in because it's so beneficial in so many different ways. This young lady does yoga not only in the Art of Yoga studio, but she teaches anywhere that will allow her to do so. I hear her say, and I see it on all the social media channels, her number one statement is, "I love yoga." So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my special guest, Naomi Gogas.
Hey, thank you, Versandra. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we know that you just love yoga. Can you let our audience know why is it that you love yoga so much?
Yoga for me has been a simply amazing experience. I am so very thankful for all of the little ways that it has come into my life. In looking back over the years, noticing how it trickled its way in and then became my life. It's beautiful. It's liberating. It has helped me in so many various ways. The freedom with it, the body awareness, the better self-image that I have, it's simply beautiful.
Yeah. And so I know that you work with yogis or people who are interested in yoga, all ages, backgrounds. In fact, I know that you actually work with a lot of people who are in the military, even active duty. Can you let our audience know a little bit more about that experience? Have you learned anything specific as it relates to people that are veterans or military, active duty military personnel, and how yoga kind of supports them on their journey?
Yeah. So a lot of times, and there are very, very many different varieties of yoga for one. There is a benefit for yoga to complement the typical military personnel as they are very physically active.
Yes.
And yoga invites the sense of relaxing and calming and resting. We have our sympathetic nervous system and our parasympathetic nervous system. And yoga helps us, depending on which style, helps us stimulate the parasympathetic, our rest and digest, if you will. This is very important because most of military is on high alert constantly.
Yes.
And this will help them bring their bodies back to a more calm, rested state so that they don't hold traumas. And traumas are all sorts of sizes, and maybe the word is not the best. But it will help them release some of that, and which can cause tension and tightness through the body physically, and yoga can help you relax.
Yes.
Find more peace.
Right. But then there are those active, very active, especially those that are just joining the military and they're going into basic, and it's like, oh my God, I have to be at my best.
Yes.
And there's different kinds of yoga or different styles of yoga that would benefit that individual as well.
Yep. So someone who is pretty well aware of their physical capabilities, hot yoga would be a beautiful practice for them. You get the physical momentum practice. You also get some deep stretches and, of course, everyone's favorite Shavasana, where you get to rest completely at the end.
Yes.
So hot yoga is very popular amongst a lot of military members, a lot of
Yes.
military personnel, men and women.
Yes, absolutely. I can just imagine if you are preparing to be in a, an atmosphere where the weather is going to be really hot and you have been used to something totally opposite. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. There it gets freezing cold. In
Yes.
fact, right now it's freezing there. They've had a few nice days. But when your body has been used to a certain temperature on a regular basis, then you're all of a sudden put in a situation where the temperature is 100 degrees or more. I can just imagine that hot yoga could support an individual with allowing their body to make the adjustment to that weather and be able to physically be active under those different circumstances. So I'm just kind of imagining if you were, I'm trying to think of a country where it's really, really hot that you might go. But anyway, you know what I mean. You're going
Yes.
somewhere, it's 100 degrees, you're not used to that. And so you may want to practice hot yoga just to see how your body can adjust. Prep it just as if you were preparing for a race or a marathon. It's not good to
Acclimate.
jump. Yes.
Yep.
You don't want to just jump into a situation like that without having your body to make adjustments. So yes, I can see that. Now, I also know that you have a personal story as it relates to depression.
Yes.
And probably anxiety too, because it seems like they're partners. They seem to want to hang out together.
Yeah.
Tell our audience a little bit more about your experience with depression and how yoga has assisted you with dealing with that.
Okay. So my diagnosis with depression has just come recently, within the past 2 years. In hindsight's always a beautiful thing. Looking back, I feel like I've been depressed for most of my adult life. Yoga has helped me find myself. Yoga has helped me physically notice when something is wrong, and also knowing that you can use yoga and the mindfulness techniques to help with depression.
Right.
And there's lots of different degrees of depression. There's different aspects of it. And for me, it simply helped me realize I wasn't alone. I was able to go to a yoga practice and stay in child's pose if I felt like it.
Yeah.
They allowed me to be me where I was that day. I've had a few times where some of the practices have helped me release, if you will, some of the trauma that I've held in my body that's created the depression. And to be able to release it, to let it go, one of my favorite yoga mantras, let it go, let it go, let it go.
Yeah.
And I laugh at it every once in a while because it's a big promise. Just let it go. What no longer serves you, just let it go.
Yeah.
It's taken me a long time to let it go, but letting go has allowed me to see I'm depressed. I need help. So I did try to use my yoga practice, my mindfulness, my meditation to help me alleviate some of my depression. I needed help. I needed more help. So I did seek out a professional to assist with this. And that, along with my yoga practice, has brought me a long way. Also some self-education, reading books at the recommendation of these trained professionals. It's helped.
Yes.
It's helped a lot. And practicing the yoga has given me the movement, which we all know exercise is a very, very beneficial thing for our bodies to help us stay mentally healthy and physically healthy. Even to be able to get out of bed because I need water, because hydration helps as well.
Yeah.
So the yoga practice has helped me stay consistent in taking care of myself, knowing that I am worth the care that yoga can give me. just because I'm going to go share it with other people as well. So why would I not do the same for myself? It has taught me that I am someone.
Yes.
And that comes with a lot of the yogic philosophies. It comes with just simply the physical practice. And as I've become stronger, it makes me feel more confident in myself. All of the things. All of the things yoga.
Yes. Well, I have watched you, Naomi, as you did some of the basic movements. I've seen you on your head with your feet up in the air without support. You have graduated just gradually into some of the more, I guess, advanced yoga movements. And it just makes me so happy to see you continuing on your path and sharing it with others. What's really important about what you just mentioned is that yoga is not therapy. It's important for our viewers to recognize that although we are sharing the beautiful benefits of yoga, that it is not the end all be all. It's a wonderful tool. It's a wonderful resource for you. However, you, no matter where you are, should connect with a professional that has expertise in the areas of depression, anxiety, even PTSD. We know that a lot of individuals that have served in the military come back reporting that they have had some experiences with post-traumatic stress disorder. And so you definitely want to connect with your expert, your mental health expert, whether it is a licensed counselor, whether it's a psychologist, whatever you are in need of, you want to do that first. And I'm so happy that in 2022, that doctors are a lot more open to, I would say, prescribe, because that's really what it is when the doctor is recommending that you see a yoga instructor or take a yoga class. It's wonderful, because 22 years ago when I got into this whole world, it was not the case. And so as I see things transition, it just makes me really happy to know that these professionals, because yoga instructors are professionals, they may not be doctors, but they are trained in so many various ways. I'm telling you, yoga instructors are learning all about the anatomy, and they're learning about physiology. They're learning about how the body responds to various situations. They learn how to help you not injure yourself. And if you are injured, and you do have a story regarding an injury and how yoga has helped you, share a little bit more about that.
So when I was practicing my handstands and headstands, yoga helped me find a physical ailment within my body. I was trying to get myself upside down, and when I would come down to the floor safely and mindfully, because I don't want to hurt myself, I noticed a paralyzing sensation through my legs and my glute muscle area. So finally realizing this is not right, you shouldn't feel this, I called the doctor. I went and saw my doctor. My doctor then recommended physical therapy and some pain reliever, which is pretty well the first step for anyone, because it could be a very simple issue, and that might be what you need to fix it. From there, which a lot of the physical therapy moves that were given to me are very, very similar to a lot of yoga postures. So again, learning what yoga postures feel okay, don't feel okay, what agitate my issue, what make my issue feel better, was very important for me. And that takes a lot of body awareness, something that I didn't have, unfortunately, until I was in my 30s. Yoga has brought that to me. I feel like more of an adult. So from that point of seeing my doctor, they did recommend if I did not see any resolution, they would get me an MRI. Never thought of it before. Never even considered asking for one. And so the pain did not subside. It got less, but it did not subside. And I had been struggling with similar pain for quite a long time. I can recall working and coming home after work and just laying on a beanbag to let my back just relax. It was just this pain. A lot of people would refer to it as sciatica pain, and it was very similar. Upon the image results of my MRI, I had a tumor in my spine.
Wow.
So I had a very large, benign, thankfully, we found after it was removed, benign tumor at my L4, L5 vertebrae. I had that tumor removed, and thankfully, with a few complications other than the tumor, thankfully, I'm back to being able to go upside down again.
Yes.
So to be able to pinpoint that something didn't feel right was pretty much a lifesaver. The tumor was taking up so much space in my spinal column that it was just crushing the nerves. So it was causing this numbness to go down my left leg, and it was starting to move over into my right leg. That was when I started to become more concerned and then noticed the paralyzing sensation as I was bringing myself back up off the floor.
Right, right.
So, and that's been a little over 2 years now since my surgery to have that removed.
Okay, so that means that I met you as you were recovering from
I
that.
believe so, yes.
That is really awesome. Thank you for sharing that really personal story, because that is really what we like to do here on Optimal Living Starts Here. We like to share her story. We like to share his story as well, but in this series, we're talking about her story, and her story matters. And when she shares her story, another she listens and then maybe finds the relief that they have been seeking. And so I am so excited that you have basically said yes to optimal living education and retreats as well, because that is a very big part of my life and why the show even exists. And when I was seeking yoga practitioners to support veterans and active duty military personnel, and I was just kind of talking to people, hey, I have this idea, would you help me? You, again, your answer, I love yoga.
I do.
I'll do it any place, anytime, anywhere. If it's virtual, if it's live, if it's outdoors, if it's by the river, wherever it is, you'll do it. And I'm just so happy that you have said yes. And as this whole mission continues to grow and expands out, you know, Phoenix City, Columbus, Georgia, and then all into the world. You are right here just supporting me with helping me get this message out to the masses. I know that you also have a crazy cat. I'm just going to call that cat crazy.
Yes, I do.
Tell us, does your cat do yoga?
Well, he was trying to help me do yoga. I cannot remember. We joked about him wanting to be a yoga cat, and I can't remember what it was. But I have another cat that every time I would set up my yoga mat outside, said cat would come over and get on my yoga mat with me. So I do have an original yoga cat, and then I have this new yoga cat. But yes, cats are very good at compass pose. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but cats are very good with compass pose. Humans, it takes a lot of opening of the hamstrings to get into compass pose. So if you could always look it up. But cats are very good at compass pose. Yes.
It seems like every time I see your post online, I'm watching this cat.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what is going on with that cat?
Yes, that the one video I can remember, I was practicing headstands in my front entryway, and the kitten had come over, sniffed me, and then took off the other way. And I didn't realize that I caught it on video until after I was looking back. I like to record myself to see where my alignments might need some adjusting, or if I get to hold my handstand without support or headstand without support, you know, I can capture that. But to capture the kitten just bolting out of there after was towards the camera. Oops. It was hilarious. So.
Yes, it's
the
a
fun
funny
parts
thing.
of life.
Yes. Just another, I guess, an example of how yoga can be fun. It is not just something that you do in this closed off setting where, you're all alone and you're trying to do your thing. Yoga can really be included in every single part of your life. I find myself striking a yoga pose even when I'm doing dishes in the kitchen, things like that. I can be walking up a flight of stairs and all of a sudden feel like I need to extend and come into a lunge on the staircase. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Well, the body kind of calls for it. After a while, once you begin to do yoga and find a way to practice it on a regular basis, it just calls for you.
Yes,
and you're taking a deep breath in and you're like, okay, let me just stretch my arms out. And it feels so good. It feels so good.
Absolutely.
I too had a recent injury, I would say, or maybe it's just a calling out from the body to bring attention, and it was in my arm. And I tell you, this pain was achy and it had been hanging out for a couple of months. And I had this experience maybe about a week ago, and it took me to tears, in the middle of, I'm in bed chilling, and I started having these flashbacks, memories of a traumatic situation that I had experienced. And I decided at that moment that I would not press it down into my body, that I would release it through my breath. And I began to breathe and I began to extend my arm and everything. And I'm telling you, I cried out. And here it is, maybe 3-4 days since that experience, and the pain that I would call at that moment an 8 out of 10 is down to about a 2. And it was simply due to me being aware that this is not just a physical experience, and seeing the flashes through my mind of that earlier trauma in my life, and then just choosing to breathe in and out, releasing and letting go of the pain that I was experiencing. And I said to myself, if everyone had this in their personal self-care toolkit, it would really change the whole world.
It would.
It would really and truly change the whole world. So I am excited that there are yoga instructors just like you, Naomi, that are all around the world, literally. There are millions of them now in the United States, when it was not that case, say 50 years ago. Because we would, sometimes we say, oh, it originated in India. And then other people say, oh, it originated in Kemet. Wherever you found it, I don't care where you feel it originated from, use it. And
that's a very important lesson, is it's not necessarily where did it come from? I need to know exactly where it came from. It's how does it resonate within you? How does it make you feel? And can you share it with other people? Because maybe how you share it with someone is what they need, and it will resonate with them, as opposed to maybe someone else shares it and it's not quite right. Because there's lots of different types of yoga. So it's a beautiful thing to have in your toolkit, as you say. And I'm very thankful to have it in mine. And I'm happy that you have it in yours.
Absolutely. So be present. Yoga with Naomi. Be present is all around this area. The whole Chattahoochee Valley has access to Be Present, and you will find Naomi's information just below here and how to connect with her. But before we go, I would like for you to share any final words with our audience that may come to mind, that you feel that person that's sitting on the edge of their seat and they're watching so intently. Do you have something that you would like to leave them with? Maybe even a gentle practice, something that they can do right now while they're watching this on TV.
Absolutely. A few words would be Find the yoga that resonates with you. Find your comfortable place, and know that any practice you go to, you can stop if you're not comfortable with what the teacher is instructing. They're simply suggestions. If you want to lay down and take a child's pose, lay down and take a child's pose.
Yeah.
If that's what you go to your yoga practice for, that's what you need. That's what you do. A very gentle practice here that's very accessible for a lot of different people would be shoulder roll. A shoulder roll.
Ooh, I think I'm a shoulder roll with you. Let's see.
So sitting up tall, finding some length through the spine, soften the shoulders down towards the floor. Maybe just notice that right off the bat. Do you tend to hunch the shoulders up? Soften them down away from the ears. And as we bring the shoulders forward, we might inhale and then exhale as you roll the shoulders back and down. And you can do this with your arms down by your sides. You can do this with your hands on your shoulders. Inhaling to come forward and up, and exhaling to come back and down. I always like to invite people here to close their eyes in their practice as well, so you can really get into the physical sensations that you're feeling through the body. Maybe you notice your range of motion through the shoulder blade area. And then you might like to reverse the direction of that shoulder roll. So coming back to a pause, a place of center, if you will, and we'll draw the shoulders back and up on the inhale, and then forward and down on the exhale. Inhaling, the shoulders come back and up. Exhale, the shoulders come forward and down. Inviting a sense of balance through your body. If you feel the need to reverse the direction yet again, do so. Maybe you like to roll one shoulder at a time. Sometimes it's nice to find an asymmetric movement so you can really pinpoint maybe which shoulder's your favorite. Another option might be a neck roll, lowering the right ear towards the right shoulder. Draw the chin to the chest, left ear to left shoulder. If it's available, you might drop the head back, completing a circle. But it's not necessary. If it feels better to simply move at the front from shoulder to shoulder, do what feels right. And then, of course, if you are completing that circle, you'll want to reverse the direction and notice any differences. Those are two of my go-tos for the upper body. We hold a lot of tension in our shoulders and our neck. For your hips, I might recommend a forward fold. And you can do that in a chair. You just, again, want to sit up tall, lengthen through the crown of the head, and then hinge at the hips, fold forward. Again, noticing how these postures feel for you. I prefer standing forward fold, but sometimes you're in a chair and that's what you got.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Naomi. I find that these same type of practices are beneficial if you're sitting at a computer all day, you're at work.
Lots of opening, yes.
Yes, and so that is really pointing to the fact that yoga can be used in all aspects of your life. You don't have to be in a yoga studio. You can be at home, you can be at work, you can be sitting in front of your desk. And these days, when we have so many people that are just on that computer all day long, you need to take you a little break. Why not make it a yoga break? Yes, yes.
I like it. We need to have some more yoga breaks in our life.
Yes, yes. Well, this has definitely been my pleasure sharing all about Naomi Gogas.
Yes.
I love your name. I hope that you will discover Naomi wherever she is, all about. You might find her somewhere with her feet up in the sky, just standing down in what, Uptown or
Midtown.
Maybe, Midtown. You like Midtown?
Usually Lake Bottom Park.
Okay, there you go. You might
nice
find her.
support.
If you see her out there, just give her a wave and say, "Hey, Naomi." I'm sure she'll speak back. She does that with cats, you know. She speaks back to her cat, so of course she'll speak back to you. Thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your story, her story, right here on Optimal Living Starts Here.
Optimal living.